Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. A multi-party meeting in Muscat reviews opportunities for developing the financial sector and various investment areas in the Sultanate of Oman. 400 Gulf and European professors and doctors discuss in Muscat the latest developments and scientific findings in cardiology. More than 60 Palestinians are martyred in Israeli occupation bombing of central Gaza Strip, and the United Nations warns of worsening famine in the Strip. Israeli forces resume airstrikes on Beirut's southern suburbs. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The National Program for Financial Sustainability and Financial Sector Development Istidama and a State Street company held a multi-party meeting to review areas and opportunities for financial sector development and discuss various investment areas in the Sultanate of Oman. The meeting covered key topics in financial sector development, including the capital market, green finance initiatives, and financial technology. It highlighted strategic investment opportunities for Oman Investment Authority, affiliated companies, and discussed upcoming projects and potential investment opportunities in the space and green hydrogen sectors. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Nasser bin Khamis al-Jashmi, Chairman of the Tax Authority. The Oman Cardiology Association, in cooperation with the European Cardiology Association, organized a conference on the latest developments and scientific findings in cardiology. The 2 days conference aims to raise medical knowledge on heart disease and update the information available to health sector workers, in addition to focusing on the latest developments in the treatment of high blood pressure and heart failure. The conference includes a number of working papers reviewing the latest developments in the cardiology, with the participation of 400 professors and doctors specializing in the field of cardiology from the Sultanate of Oman and abroad. Israeli airstrikes on the Gaza Strip killed more than 60 Palestinians in the past 24 hours, and dozens more were injured overnight and into this morning on the city of Deir el-Balah, the Nusayrat camp, and the town of Az-Zuwayda, all in the central area of the Palestinian coastal enclave, as well as in the south. Israel has pressed on its military offensives in the Gaza Strip despite the efforts by Washington to secure ceasefire ahead of the U.S. presidential election next Tuesday. At least 10 were killed in an Israeli strike that hit the entrance of a school sheltering displaced people in Nusayrat. Another 10 were killed in a car in Khan Yunis in the south of Gaza. Israel's offensive have killed more than 43,000 Palestinians and reduced most of Gaza to rubble. Israeli forces bombarded Beirut's southern suburbs today with at least 10 strikes as a U.S.-led diplomatic push to end the fighting struggle to move forward. The strikes came after Israel issued evacuation orders for the 10 separate neighborhoods. Despite the new push for peace by the United States, Israel's close ally and main arms supplier, the continued deadly exchanges of fire indicate little progress has been made. The Lebanese Ministry of Health announced that more than 2,800 people were killed and 13,000 injured since the beginning of the Israeli aggression on Lebanon. Severe food crises threaten hundreds of thousands of people in vulnerable areas. including the Palestinian territories Sudan, South Sudan, Haiti, and Mali, said a report by the United Nations food agencies. Conflicts, economic instability, and climate shocks combined with reduced funding for the emergency food and agriculture assistance are driving alarming levels of acute food insecurity in 22 hunger hotspots, the report warned. The FAO and the World Food Programme said acute food insecurity is projected to worsen across 16 hunger hotspots during the next 6 months in 14 countries and 2 regions. North Korea flexed its military muscle with the test of a huge new solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile dubbed Hwasong-19. The launch flew higher than any previous North Korean missile, according to the North, as well as militaries in the South Korea and Japan that tracked its flight deep into space before it splashed down in the ocean between Japan and Russia. State news agency KCNA lauded it as the world's strongest strategic missile. While questions remain over North Korea's ability to guide such a missile and protect a nuclear warhead as it re-enters the atmosphere, the Hwasong-19, like North Korea's other latest ICBMs, demonstrated the range to strike nearly anywhere in the United States. The death toll from historic flash floods in Spain climbed to at least 205 people today, with many more believed to be missing. Spanish emergency authorities said 202 of the victims were in the Valencia region alone, and officials warned that more rains were expected in the next days. The damage from the storm Tuesday and Wednesday recalled the aftermath of a tsunami, with survivors left to pick up the pieces as they mourn loved ones lost in Spain's deadliest natural disaster in living memory. Many streets were still blocked by piled-up vehicles and debris, in some cases trapping residents in their homes. Some places still doesn't have any electricity, running water, or stable phone connections. Meanwhile, members of the security forces and soldiers are busy searching for an unknown number of missing people. Many fear to still be trapped in the wrecked vehicles or flooded garages. Spain has suffered through an almost 2-year drought, making the flooding worse because the dry ground was so hard that it couldn't absorb the rain. Still to come on News Bulletin. Winners of the 4th edition of the NEMAT Environment Competition for Government Schools are honored for their best ideas to preserve the environment. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. To enhance the smooth flow of traffic, the Dhofar municipality implements 4 vital road projects in the wilaya of Salalah at a total cost of 34 million Omani riyals. The projects include a Teen tunnel with 4 lances at a cost of 7 million Omani riyals, To improve traffic between the eastern and middle parts of Salalah, a dual carriageway project will be constructed at the length of 9 kilometers in the Sultan Qaboos Road. The Far municipality also announced that it's in the process of implementing other development projects, including the construction of a flyover at the intersection of Rabat Street with Al-Nahda Street and the development of the seafronts in both Al-Daharis and Al-Qad areas in the wilaya of Salalah. With the aim of developing capabilities, improving performance in the port sector, and enhancing the sector's efficiency, Duqm Port organized a training program entitled Ports Development Strategy. The program targeted 26 specialists and managers from various government and private entities in Duqm. The program highlighted the importance of developing port services and logistical operations to improve efficiency in port management. The program aimed to hone the skills of port stakeholders in various areas of port management to keep abreast with the latest developments in the field. An awarding ceremony was held to recognize the winners of the 4th edition of NAMAT competition for government schools. 164 schools from all over the country participated in the competition this year to compete for best ideas and proposals to preserve the environment. Various ideas were proposed to preserve carbon emission and search for sustainable solutions to conserve energy and adopt alternative measures. The school competitions come in line with Oman Vision 2040 and 2050 net zero commitment by encouraging students to seek alternative energy solutions and help the government achieve its international environment targets. The ceremony was held under the patronage of Her Excellency Dr. Madiha bint Ahmed al-Shaybaniya, Minister of Education. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. A multi-party meeting in Muscat reviews opportunities for developing the financial sector and various investment areas in the Sultanate of Oman. 400 Gulf and European professors and doctors discuss in Muscat the latest developments and scientific findings in cardiology. More than 60 Palestinians are martyred in Israeli occupation bombing of central Gaza Strip, and the United Nations warns of worsening famine in the Strip. Israeli forces resume airstrikes on Beirut's southern suburbs. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from all of us here at the newsroom and the studios. Thank you for watching and have a good night.